Hi, I'm Arnaud Chevalier. I'm a professor of economics at Royal Holloway, University of London. In this video, I will discuss my research on the rationality of burglars in deciding burglary locations. This is a joint work with Niels Blackman from Newcastle University and Tanya Wilson from Glasgow University. And it's entitled Expected Returns to Crime and Crime Location, and it's forthcoming at the American Economic Journal Applied Economics. The idea of this research came when two of us had our flat burgled. In both instances, nothing substantial was taken, and the police declared that it was clear to the burglar that after entering our flats, there would be no gold here. So what determined the decision of burglars, and what has it to do with gold? Economists have been interested in crime since Becker presented a model of crime in the 60s. In this model, criminals are rational and make decisions to engage in criminal activities by comparing the returns to committing crime, adjusting for the probability of arrest and severity of sentencing, to the returns to non-criminal activities. An extension of this model would be to use it to assess where crime is taking place, so as to better allocate policing resources. Using the same logic, a criminal would be more likely to commit a crime in a neighborhood if the expected return to these crimes are larger than committing a similar crime in another neighborhood. The difficulty in testing such a model is that neighborhoods differ in ways that researchers might not be able to measure, but will affect the propensity of crime. But what does all of this has to do with gold? Compared to other goods that can be stolen, the second-hand market for gold jewelry is large, making jewelry an attractive good to steal. It is common knowledge in the UK that households of South Asian descent have a greater proclivity to own gold jewelry. When the price of gold goes up, we should expect more burglaries in general, especially so in areas with a higher share of households from South Asian descent. Using monthly police records for England and Wales, and a statistical technique called difference in differences, which allow us to assess how much burglaries change with variations in the price of gold in neighborhood with a relatively high share of South Asian households compared to a neighborhood with a lower share. To better reflect the geographical choices of potential burglars, we only compare neighborhoods within a local authority. Indeed, we estimate that when gold price rises by 10%, the number of burglaries increase by 0.5%, as predicted in Becker's model. Moreover, this increase in burglaries is twice as large in neighborhoods with a high share of South Asian households. These findings are robust to variations in the statistical modeling or variations to the definition of at-risk neighborhoods. This suggests that burglars are rational. Their decisions to engage in criminal activities and the location of these crimes are driven by the expected returns to crime. We then conducted a series of tests to eliminate alternative explanations to our findings. For example, whether these findings are replicated for neighborhoods with high proportion of ethnic minorities, not known to have a preference for jewelry, for variation in the price of other commodities, like oil, which should not predict the returns to burglaries, for variations in local unemployment, or for other crimes. In all of those cases, we do not find any differences in the choice of neighborhoods by burglars, which support the findings that variations in the price of gold are the drivers for the increased risk of burglaries in areas with a high share of households with East Asian descent. Ultimately, the result from this study may provide insight into crime prevention. For the police, by knowing that burglars follow economic incentive, it might be able to allocate resources more effectively and change its allocation as the economic incentives vary. Other policies might involve informing South Asian communities of the additional risk that they occur by storing jewelry at home, especially when the price of gold is high, or introduce legislation to make the resale of jewelry more difficult. Further questions of interest would be to assess whether such policies might be successful.